Welcome to Lovoria Network, my friends. Thank you for joining me today. Life sometimes throws us into situations that test our patience, our family ties, and even our dignity. And today's story is one that still weighs heavy on my heart because it's about betrayal, disrespect, and the painful truth that not everyone in your family wants to see you succeed. It's about my wife's nephew, a boy I once welcomed like my own, who shattered more than just the windows of my greenhouse. He shattered trust, love, and respect. I want to take you back to the day it all started. My greenhouse wasn't just some glass building, it was my sanctuary. I built it with my own 2 hands, piece by piece, sweating through long nights and early mornings. That greenhouse wasn't just filled with plants. It was filled with dreams, healing, and peace of mind. Every single flower, herb, and fruit in there had a story, and to me it was like watching life bloom every day. Now my wife's nephew, let's call him Tyler, was always a troubled kid. He was young, restless, and thought the world owed him something. But because he was family, I tried to understand him. I gave him chances, advice, even jobs around the yard so he could learn the value of work. I treated him like a son, hoping he'd see I was rooting for him. But deep down, I think he never saw me as anything more than someone in his way. One Saturday morning, I was out front fixing the gate when I heard loud crashes coming from the back. At first, I thought maybe a storm had broken some branches. But when I rushed over, my heart sank. The greenhouse windows were shattered, not 1, not 2, but nearly all of them. Glass lay everywhere, covering the plants I had cared for so long. Some were crushed, others destroyed. It looked like a crime scene, and my chest tightened as if the air had been ripped away. Standing there, phone in his hand, was Tyler. He was laughing. Laughing like it was some kind of game. And worse? He was recording it. Posting it online for likes, comments, and the shallow applause of strangers. My hands shook as I asked him why. His response? "It's just glass, old man. Chill out. You'll get views too." I'll never forget the sting of those words. I stood frozen, torn between anger and heartbreak. Because here was someone I had embraced as family, deliberately tearing down something I loved. Not out of need, not out of accident, but out of mockery. And as his video went viral, the comments poured in, some laughing, others criticizing. But the truth was, none of them understood the real damage. It wasn't about the windows. It was about respect. It was about trust. When my wife came home, I told her what happened. At first, she didn't believe me. She thought I was exaggerating or maybe misunderstanding. But then she saw the video online with her own eyes. Her face turned pale and she broke down in tears. Because this wasn't just about me, it was about our family name. Our nephew had chosen clout over love, and that hurt her even deeper. We confronted Tyler together, hoping maybe he'd apologize, maybe he'd show some kind of regret. But instead, he smirked. "It's not a big deal," he said. "People break stuff all the time. You'll get over it." That was the moment I knew something had changed forever. This wasn't just teenage rebellion. This was disrespect, plain and simple. I tried to explain to him how much that greenhouse meant to me, how many nights I spent building it instead of sleeping, how much joy it gave me when life was heavy. But his eyes stayed cold, distant. He wasn't listening and he didn't care. And that realization cut me deeper than any broken glass ever could. Word spread through the family. Some relatives told me to forgive and move on because he's just a kid. Others told me I was right to be angry. But no one truly understood the weight of it except me and my wife. Because family is supposed to protect what you love, not destroy it for views. That night, I sat inside the broken greenhouse, glass crunching under my boots, and I cried. Yes, I cried. Because it felt like my years of work, my trust, and my heart had been stomped on. But in that pain, I also made a decision. I wasn't going to let this define me. I was going to rebuild. Rebuilding wasn't easy. It took money, time, and strength I didn't know I still had. But every new panel of glass I installed reminded me that no matter how people try to tear you down, you can stand back up. And when it was finished, the greenhouse looked even better than before. Stronger. Cleaner. More alive. As for Tyler, I had to distance myself. I couldn't keep welcoming someone who didn't value respect or love. It was hard for my wife, but she saw the truth too. Sometimes family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up, who respects you, who values what you build. I share this story not just to vent my pain, but to remind you that betrayal hurts the most when it comes from family. But pain also has a way of teaching us who truly belongs in our circle. And though Tyler shattered my greenhouse windows, he also revealed something far more important, that not everyone deserves access to your peace. So if you've ever had someone you trusted tear down what you love, know this: you have the power to rebuild. Stronger, brighter, better than before. And sometimes the best lesson you can teach others is not through words, but through the strength of your comeback.